So, good evening, everybody. I'm Dr. Dennis Mariano. Thank you for joining us this evening. This is our transformational healing seminar. And question for you guys is, do you want to stay the same in life, or do you want things to be able to live differently in life?
Well, it depends. If they're good, they can stay the same.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
So if they're good positive experiences, then you want them to stay the same. But when they're experiences that are not positive, then you want them to change. But the fact is what? Do we ever stay stagnant, or are things always changing?
Always changing.
Yeah, they're always changing, and we're always growing. So the question is, the reason for the seminars that we have is to make sure that you get the opportunity to dive deeper into the principles. Because in today's world, isn't it true that people just give you opinions without really backing anything, based on principle? And so there has to be some tolerances and awarenesses, but we need to always be growing and expanding. And part of the seminar series is to help you be aware and go deeper. For example, the components of health are physical, emotional, chemical. And tonight we're going to dive deeper into the emotional component of that. Has anybody here done NET before? Like a session? No, you've never done that, right? Okay. So it's really, really powerful. I'll probably be making some comments in terms of case studies, but the whole point of NET is really, it's powerful. It's a powerful technique that we use. So the title of tonight's seminar is Healing Depression and Anxiety, the Holistic Mind-Body Approach. There's a saying that emotions buried alive never die, right? The emotions are actually energy in motion, and they can actually get trapped in your body. Most people that live lives, especially my generation and even older generation, the saying is what? Kids are to be seen,
Not heard.
not heard. What does that mean? You're just there. You're not supposed to interact. You're supposed to honor your parents, and so therefore your opinion really doesn't matter. Is that healthy?
No.
It's being suppressed. And guess what? Most of us have made it to this part of our lives because we survived ourselves to where we are. And it's not healthy. And the whole point of NET is to discuss how can you then get out of that awareness and then be able to live in the present moment instead of living in our familiar past. Our mission statement is, again, to provide you with the latest technology and the most advanced technology in holistic health and life care. Our statement of purpose as well, our catalyzing statement, is to inspire people to live extraordinary lives so they can be a beacon of hope for others. The reason why people suffer is because they have worldviews and belief systems that are incongruent with natural laws, right? And that's called cognitive dissonance. You know what that means? Cognitive dissonance means, let's say you're somebody that I could ask, hey, Joe, what is your mission in life? Oh, my mission is to eradicate cancer. Really? How come? Oh, my father died 10 years ago of cancer, so I want to be sure to cure that. All right. So where do you work? Oh, I work for a hot dog factory, and we make hot dogs that are full of nitrates and nitrites. Can you see the contradiction? And Ayn Rand said that when you live a life in contradiction to natural laws, that contradiction leads to destruction directly proportional to the contradiction. So we're going to be discussing tonight, how do we then get to the point of how to clean that up so that this way we're not living a life like driving with your parking brakes on. Okay? People online, please type in your questions and comment so that we can then engage and connect and answer those for you later. So the principles of healing, there's always three types of stresses in life. What are they again?
Chemical, mental, physical.
Yeah, it's right there. Open book test, right? The most important thing is that your brain and nerve system control the function of every part of the body. And that's kind of your hard drive, and it's your operating system. And it's important to keep that clear. If the pathways are clear, then health can then arise from there. So what is NET? It's a stress reduction technique It's a method that's utilized by different type of healthcare professionals in many different disciplines. Counselors, doctors of chiropractic, doctors of medicine, doctors of naturopathy, therapists use them as well. And it's basically a technique that is going to help relieve the symptoms of stress, especially because think about what happened, over 3 years ago when we were locked down and everybody was isolated. What happened to the people's emotions? Did it get better, or what happened?
It's worse.
It got worse, right? So it became such a challenge. As a matter of fact, what happened to the rate of suicides? Went up, right? Even is when there's an immediate danger, right? And so what happens is that then your sympathetic system goes up, heart rate goes up, the pupils get enlarged, your digestion slows down, the adrenal medulla releases epinephrine, and now your body's ready to do what? The 3 F's.
Flee, fight,
Or freeze,
or freeze, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like you get paralyzed and so on. So, and that's a defense mechanism. When something's new, when you have an acute stress, it's a normal response. However, when you have stress that's long-term, or the stress gets embedded in your body, then all of a sudden, the stress is perceived by the hypothalamus, you start releasing hormones, and then it stimulates the pituitary gland, and it produces other kinds of hormones, and then all of a sudden, the adrenal produces adrenaline, and then the blood pressure starts to go up, your immune system becomes weakened, and now you start to get depressed. Because you're not supposed to stay in stress for long term, correct? So that's what happens when these emotions get trapped in the body. So what happens is that a lot of stressful events are subconscious, remind us of unresolved past. They start to connect together with each other. And now they start then expressing in the body in terms of symptoms, either pain or chronic pain that doesn't go away. And then you get then conditioned to these responses because you get triggered. So the different types of stress-related symptoms in the body, this is what the NET research shows here. The cerebellum is a part of your brain in the back of your head there. In PubMed, this was published back in 2017. They found when somebody has chronic stress in their life, and there's like a PTSD kind of experience, when you think of something, you still get triggered. The parahippocampal area of the brain will actually show that it lights up in functional MRI. So there's actually a physical experience that happens when you have these emotions that are suppressed and they try to come out, and you get triggered by the environment. When they did NET or neuroemotional technique on these subjects, what happened then was that after 3 to 5 sessions, everything began to calm down. So the NET actually has a physiological effect on the body instead of just a psychological effect as well. So there's different parts of your brain. The first part is the reptilian brain. That's what's called your what? Your lizard brain. And see all the functions there? The mammalian brain is the midbrain. It's affected by, it controls your emotions and all these other functions as well. The newer brain, the neocortex, which is the most surface part of the brain, is associated with reasoning and all these other functions as well. And here's the thing. The traditional model of therapy addresses the logical part of your brain. The analogy I like to make is that it's like the tip of the iceberg. It's like the 10% that you see above the water. Remember the Titanic, how it sank? What do you think sank the Titanic? The tip of the iceberg or the one you couldn't see the 90% below? It was supposed to be unsinkable, right? Like, oh, this is going to be unsinkable. Well, that didn't work out too well. So the same thing happens to us. The things that sink us are the stuff we're not aware of consciously. Now, they also did stress arousal heart rate studies. This is before the NET session. When you would think about the distressing event, you could see the heart rate go up besides the brain lighting up. And then when you listen to the depressing cues after the NET, it then began to calm down. So there's really a physiological effect that occurs. This is not just something that is ethereal that you cannot measure. So here's what happens. Are emotions bad or good?
Depends.
Good.
Emotions are not bad or good. They're just a response to the environment. If a bear's coming after you, you better run. You know, they're there to, right? But if nothing's coming after you and you're still afraid, that's not okay. So emotions are there. They're not bad or good. They just are. However, these emotions are like bad data on your hard drive, like bad pictures that you took that you never deleted. They stay inside your body, right? And here's what happens too. You get conditioned, like Pavlov's dog. Remember that? It's our dog. You know anything about dogs?
Yeah.
So, are dogs supposed to salivate to a bell? They're not supposed to salivate to a bell. It has nothing to do with anything. However, you can condition it. If a dog sees meat, what's it going to do automatically? It's going to salivate. But if you connect the bell every time they see a piece of meat and they salivate, it starts to associate what? The bell with the meat. And that's called classical conditioning. After a while, if you do it long enough, when you ring the bell, they start to salivate when there's no meat. So that's the same thing happens. There's somebody that you're upset with, right? You have somebody that you have a relationship with that used to be close and that's not anymore. And every time you see that person, like, you just like, and nothing's happening. They didn't do anything. By looking at them, you get triggered because you're classically conditioned. You associate that person with a negative emotion. Does that make sense? Well, how are you going to get rid of that? You can't just talk to somebody about it because it's a different part of the brain. So in NET, we connected the different emotions in Chinese acupuncture. They found out thousands of years ago that organs in your body have an address where emotions live. So this is the whole chart right here. But you can see, for example, I'm going to go a little bit deeper here. So with kidney, see this? It's associated with fear, kidney bladder, or impending doom, or inefficiency, or wishy-washy. Gallbladder, liver is anger, resentment. You see this? Bladder, kidney, paralyzed will, dread. All these emotions get stuck. These are like bad data in your hard drive. Intestines and lungs are sadness, dogmatic positioning, anguish. All these emotions are cloudy thinking. Gallbladder, liver is associated with resentment and anger, depression, frustration, aggression, holding back your emotions. So there's an actual address in your body associated with these emotions. Same thing with the different organs, the thyroid, the adrenals, the prostate. They all have emotions associated with them. So the one thing too is that according to Freud, there's a repetition compulsion that actually the more you do something again and again and again, whether it's adaptive or not, guess what happens? You just keep doing it again and again, right? So same thing with the dogs, right? Mm-hmm. They just like go, they have their pattern. Mm-hmm. And if you ever see caged animals, unfortunately in the zoo, they have that pattern of this like behavior because they have nothing else to do. And they're trying to stimulate their brain. The body does the same thing. If you don't get rid of these neuroemotional complexes that are getting in your way, how many people do you know that break up with one person, they go up with another one, they keep having the same problem, and it's a different person, right? Or they have a job that keep getting fired from or they keep hating, and it's a different job. So there's something in that person that's attracting that energetically, and that's what the NET goes after. And the body then, there's actually memories. Here's to make it simple. It's like putting data on your hard drive. It just gets stored in your body. So think about this, right? Let's see how powerful the body is when it comes to emotions. So watch. Everybody sit up in your chair. Put your feet flat in front of you. Put your butt back in your chair and sit up straight. Put your palms facing up on your lap like this, right? Now I want you to close your eyes. Now I want you to take a nice deep breath. Breathe all the way up to your lungs and then hold it for a moment. And exhale, breathe out. Again, take another deep breath and hold it. And breathe out again. Now just be in present moment. I want you to visualize being in this beautiful new kitchen. Keep your eyes closed still. And think about on this kitchen is a cutting board and a knife, a really sharp knife that you only use during Thanksgiving to carve that turkey. Otherwise, it's really, really sharp. On that cutting board is a yellow, big, organic lemon. It's like as big as your hand. You take on your right hand, or if you're left-handed, use the other hand, and take that knife and start slicing that lemon slowly. You can see all the juices starting to run down on the knife, on the cutting board. And you can see it, and then take half of that lemon in your mind's eye and just smell it, and smell how tart it smells. And in the other hand, put the knife down, take a salt shaker, and put some salt on that lemon, and shake it. Put quite a bit on there. And now, in your mind's eye, take that lemon in your left hand and take a big bite out of it and squeeze all the juices. Now, don't worry about your clothes. Just let it run down your face and take a big bite out of it. Actually, take a bite of the rind also, right? And take the other half, do the same thing. Put some more salt on that thing. And then this time, instead of biting on it, tilt your head back in your mind's eye and just squeeze all the juices right into your mouth. Open your mouth wide, squeeze all the juices right into your mouth, and then put some more salt on it, and then go take another bite. And then you can relax and then open your eyes. If we did that long enough, what would happen? Would you be salivating or not? Anybody have a little bit of salivating at all?
Yeah.
A little, right? Yeah. Depending on how well you have focused on that. Now here's the thing. You imagined a lemon. Was there a lemon here?
No.
Why are you doing salivating? That's how powerful your body is. So your body is always telling your mind's always telling the body what to do. If you have total control of your thoughts and patterns of emotion, then you have better control of where you navigate yourself to life. But guess what? Most of the emotions we have are passed down from generation to generation of behaviors, mothers, fathers, teachers, preachers, right? And we start having these belief systems that trigger us, and now we just hold on to it, all those things. Is that healthy? It's not healthy, because emotions buried alive never die. And that's what happens when you bite into the lemon. So, if you really want to get more detail about this, there's a book by Dr. Candace Pert. She was the co-discoverer of opiate receptors. It's called The Molecules of Emotion. You want to knock yourself out and hurt your brain? You can read that. Because it shows you the scientific basis of the neuropeptides that travel all throughout your body, because they're emotions. Emotions are energy and motion. So there's actually a chemical association with it. So the body stress response gets affected with these emotions if they are not cleared up, right, in your hard drive. So the muscle testing, everybody knows about the muscle testing, right? Mm-hmm. So this is Dr. Dan Monty, who's actually one of our teachers in advanced NET. Here's another thing too, by the way. When you do the NET and to clear that emotion, like deleting that file, it doesn't have to be real. You can just believe it to be real. Like think about, Dan, so think about the, imagine when you were little and you believe there was a monster under your bed. Leanne could go, hey Dan, I'm going to help you out. I'm going to hire FBI, CIA. I'm going to have them come to your house, SWAT team, look under your bed, in the closet, and they're going to give you a 50-page report saying there is no monster under your bed, right? If you're 3 years old, do you care? There's a monster under your bed. So emotional reality is what really runs us. You understand? How many times then do we end up, having misinterpretation of somebody's intentions because we thought something else? Happens all the time when it comes to our emotions, and it affects your overall body. So here's another thing. When you get triggered, that's Cameron, my 18-year-old's like, yeah, you get triggered. So when you get triggered, it's a reflex. Like when you do the deep tendon reflex, like the patellar reflex, you can't control that, right? It just happens automatically. When you get classically conditioned with these emotions that are stuck in the body, you get triggered and you have no control over it. Is that good or no? No, you want to have to, that'd be like your car driving itself and you don't want to go there and it takes you where you don't want to go. So Another thing is that you start doing what's called stimulus generalization. If you are a baby and then you're afraid of a little, rabbit, a white rabbit, after a while you start associating it with a white cat, a white dog, a white furry beard, and then now you start generalizing everything, and it starts to. And then so what we use to is the homeopathy. It helps the body kind of heal itself. So, who wants to do a demonstration with here? So let's be willing to be in front of the camera. A small NET demonstration. Anybody? It'll only take a couple minutes.
Remy, do it. Stressing you out.
Mom's gonna do it, right?
Oh, I can't do it.
Roman, you wanna try it?
Come on, you can do it.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah. Okay, good. Come on out. So, hey Dan, can you do me a favor and unplug the adjusting tool and bring it over here, and then plug it in over there, please? Because we're gonna use that. All right, come on up here this way. And come this way because of the camera. So the way it works, that there's ways you can do the NET. You can either go into a pain area of the body, and you'll go on that side. Pain area of the body, or you could also find out if you have high emotional stress about something, and that doesn't go away. It just keeps coming back again and again. So let's borrow this, right? Hold this arm up like this. Come closer to me here and face the camera. Just like that. Hold this down. You want to hide that hand someplace. Good. Okay. So just say something simple. Simple. For example, say, I'm okay. Say that.
I'm okay.
Good. So I'm okay with school. Say that.
I'm okay with school.
Can you see what happened there?
I saw that.
So the body's not congruent. So I'm okay staying home and not going to school.
I'm okay staying home and not going to school.
Can you see that? So I'm like, I'm okay with school.
I'm okay with school.
So how it goes weak? Okay, so now we have to find the organ that's associated with that emotion. Keep thinking that I'm okay with school, I'm okay with school, I'm okay with school, okay with school. So gallbladder, right? Gallbladder has emotions. We can ask the body now, is it anger, resentment, gall, stubborn, emotionally repressed, yours about school. So here's the thing. The body's saying in the gallbladder area, there's an emotion called emotionally repressed, meaning I'm holding back how I feel about this because I don't want to say anything because whatever. What is it about that? If you were to be able to be honest and say, hey, Roman, if you had a choice, would you go to school or no?
No.
Okay, because, but you can't say it because God forbid you should upset people, right? So I'm holding back. If I could really say, this is what I would say about school.
Did you want me to say that?
Yeah.
Wait, what was it?
Like in school, like I don't like school because.
What?
Yeah, so the emotionally repressed. So what emotion are you holding back when it comes to school that you're not saying because you want to please people? Like if you could express something that you're not expressing about school that your body's not okay with, what would that be?
Anger.
Actually, the emotion is emotionally repressed. So what would you be holding back? Let's try that. Let's try the anger. Your anger that you have to go to school. Now, emotionally repressed about the subject, about school itself, about having to go to school. What is it that why don't you want to go to school? What is it that you don't like about that?
I don't even know if I don't like going to school. It's
What
when
is
I prefer staying home.
Try that. Try that concept. There you go. Can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
So how would that, why can't you stay home instead of going to school?
What?
Okay, try that now. Okay, right. So it's not that you don't like school. It's like I would just rather stay home and not go to school, right? There it is. Can you see this? So the emotionally repressed is, I'm not going to say anything, but I really feel like I would just stay home, right? That concept. So and then you ask the body, was there an original time when someone was feeling the emotion of emotionally repressed because they didn't want to express how they really felt because they figured that it was part of the rules? And there is not, right? So again, say, I'm okay with school.
I'm okay with school.
Right? Can you see this?
Yeah.
So it's not. So now it's the gallbladder. So you're going to put your finger there, the gallbladder. The other one. This one. That
Oh,
thing
this
right
one.
there. Yeah, it's easier. Put this on your forehead. So you're connecting the organ to the emotion. Elbows close to your body. Right? Turn away. This way. Good. Just think about that emotion of feeling like, yeah, if it was up to me, I'd just stay home. You got it?
Mm-hmm.
It's not like I don't like school, but I would rather just stay home. I like staying home. I like my home. Pretty cool there. I don't have to do work. Just imagine that. What's the intensity of the emotionally repressed? 0 is nothing.
Like a 5.
Stay with it. Just keep feeling that emotion of, I would rather just stay home. I don't want to go to school. It's not like I hate school. I like school, but I would rather just stay home. If it was up to me. What's the intensity now of the emotion?
Yeah, 2.
Again, think about emotionally repressed. I don't want to say it, but if I could, I would say, I'm staying home. I would just stay home. I like staying home instead of going to school. So, emotionally repressed is the goal, is the liver part. Breathe in, deep, and out. And again, breathe in and out. T5 and T8. Breathe in and out. Good. And so we're stimulating all the different areas and we're resetting the whole system, right? Resetting your phone, clearing out the apps. Turn around this way now. Good. Relax. Hold this arm up again. Think about school again. Good. I'm okay staying home. Say that.
I'm okay staying home.
Good. I'm okay with school.
I'm okay with school.
See the difference? So what you just did, it's not like you didn't like school. You just acknowledged, you know what? If it was up to me, I'd stay home. God forbid you should say that. You know what I mean? But you just cleared it out. You brought it to the present moment. It's not a big deal. How do we use NET a lot? A lot healthy.
I'm okay being healthy.
I'm okay being well.
I'm okay being well.
I'm okay healing.
I'm okay healing.
I'm okay being pain-free.
I'm okay being pain-free.
You see that?
Yeah.
We might need to do this. I'm okay. I'm okay being healthy.
I'm okay being healthy.
See the difference there?
Yeah.
I'm okay being pain-free.
I'm okay being pain-free.
And keep saying that, but put your hand on your forehead.
I'm okay being pain-free. I'm
Yeah.
okay being
Thank you.
pain-free.
Take your hand away. It's in the lung meridian. So, right? But at least you have a demonstration of what it's like. The nice thing about NET is I'm never going to give you advice. I'm not a therapist. That's not what I do. You talk to yourself and you get to know what's really on the inside. And once you identify where things are, like, oh, okay, I got it. I got it. So really cool stuff. So, but give him a big hand, right? Good job, Roman. Thanks for being brave. So. Okay, so again, it can go really deep. There's a lot of different things that you can, some of the cases that we've worked with, a lot of kids that are athletes, and they actually get stuck, or they have, like, let's say a gymnast does a trick, and then they get hurt. Now they got PTSD, they don't want to do it anymore. Does that make sense? Or they start then sabotaging themselves. Or people that are chronically depressed, that being in pain is more beneficial than not being in pain. So another thing you could do, here's the best times to do NET, by the way. This is an example of what's called a goal sheet. You can look at, like, I want to increase my health, my career, my finances, my spirituality, my recreation. You can put your top 3 on there, and then you can net it out. Just like with Roman, when we scan, like, I'm okay with school, I want to be okay with school. Guess what? These timelines in your nervous system, in your life, that are important, you want to clean it up. So you don't want to take with you what's in the basement of your old house and take it with you to the next relationship. And then you get to do your own, right? And this is how people usually enter our practice. Problems that can result from NECs are people have somebody with allergies. Their allergies they kept taking, allergy medicine since they were 18, and now they're in their 40s. Until we did the NET, we didn't even expect it necessary, but then the body-mind component of it really cleans it up really nicely. Otherwise, we end up losing these kids, unfortunately. Autoimmune, 90% of emotional stress can affect your physical body and affect it negatively. Relationship conflicts is important. One of the stories we had, this one lady, she was referred to us by one of our colleagues from Dr. Chiropractic from a different town, about an hour from here. She'd already had back surgery 10 years ago. She was getting chiropractic care, but she was kind of hitting a threshold of it wasn't really fully clear. Here's the husband. All right, you're in pain constantly. We can't have relations. You can't work. You're constantly miserable. I didn't even touch her spine because the body didn't show that. And she was fine. Does that make sense? And then I could tell you tons and tons of stories that have happened that can actually be beneficial when you do the NET. Athletic performance, we talked about losing and winning. The difference between therapy and NET is what, Dan? What do you think? What's the analogy for that? Because we talked about different parts of the brain. Therapy is necessary and it's, valuable. But what's the difference, right? Because you can go, well, Roman, you got that rock in there. But listen, if you didn't have that rock in there, you wouldn't appreciate not having a rock. You can rationalize it, and it's true, right? What NET does, like, can I see your shoe for a second? There you go. And have your shoe back down. You get it?
Yeah.
That's the difference. You need both, correct? You need both, and that's what we'll be able to help people with regard to the NET. Phobias is a big thing. I have a patient that she's from Europe. This has happened recently within the last couple of months. Deathly afraid of flying, and she used to be a flight attendant, and she knows all the code words. Like, so when something gets like, whoa, she used to have to like, I don't want to become an alcoholic. Every time I go to fly, I have to drink something just to calm myself down. Like, I don't want to be alcoholic. So anyway, so we did the work. We did a couple of sessions. I don't know, maybe 2 to 3 sessions of 30, 45 minutes each. And she came back from Europe, and she was getting adjusted. She gave me this big hug, like, whoa, what's going on? What's happened? I was convinced I was going to be the one that's not going to work on. She was skeptical even. Like, she's like, this is not going to work on me. It's just going to be a waste of time and money. I flew, and I was so calm. And there was even turbulence. And normally I'd be like totally freaked out. And so I was totally calm. I cannot believe it. And she's like, and then I went to the lot, I don't know, like you go to whatever airline lounge because you have first class things or whatever. And she took a selfie of herself and sent it to her husband, goes, what's wrong with this picture? Because she was drinking like orange juice instead of sense. Dr. Dan Monty there when I was taller than him. No, I'm just kidding. So that's actually, I was standing on something. Leave it to me, right? I had to do that, right? So, hey, Dr. Monty, hold on. Can we get a share? He's actually a psychiatrist in what used to be Jefferson Hospital, high places that actually support us. This is Dr. Scott Walker. He looks like Santa Claus there. But he started NET back in the early 80s. He was a doctor of chiropractic, and he integrated everything from homeopathy and psychology and Chinese acupuncture. He combined everything and nutrition to get that whole holistic approach. So this was the 35th anniversary, I believe, back in 2018. Right? Now close your eyes. Can you still feel your arm move, even if your eyes are closed? Because it's feeding back to your spinal cord, into your brain. The mechanoreceptors are receptors in your joints to know where you are in space. That's 54% of your nervous system. 22% is nociceptors. What's that? Pain, hot, cold, light touch, right? Is how you feel the world. Hot stove, right? Off. Ooh, too cold. You get it? The other 24% is autonomic, which is what? Sympathetic system, which is your accelerator. You get adjusted. What are you doing? You're balancing the nervous system. Does it work better or worse then? Better, yeah. It's always better. Right, Dan? I mean, your stuff is like, you can tell your own story about what you had to do. And again, we've talked about the immune system now. We're not going to go through that now. In terms of when we were born, we had optimal health and function. But because of life stresses, what happens? You get subluxated. Your autonomic system. Now, what did you learn that's different, Roman? That went deeper into the awareness of emotion, NET. One thing, simple.
Well, like talking to yourself about things can help with getting like rid of them. Like I don't know how to phrase it, but
okay. So talk. Anybody can contribute. Dan, Leanne?
I think I knew that like things get trapped in your body, but
Yeah.
I didn't know there's a method to get rid of emotional things in your body.
Yeah, right? Isn't that great?
Yeah.
It's like you would never even know.
Yeah.
You would never even know. Dan? What's different that you didn't know when you first walked in this here tonight?
Well, just that, like was already said, that talking to yourself.
And everything then just gets more balanced and so on. Right? And that's really the value of it, because sometimes when people get stuck, you have to look at the emotional, neuro-emotional component. It's not just emotional thought, it's body-mind that can really be helpful for you. So please connect with us on Mariano Holistic Life Center on Facebook, also on Dr. Dennis Mariano, YouTube. Wherever your focus goes, energy flows. Be careful what you focus on, because that's what you will attract into your life. And with that, we'll close with this quote from Henry David Thoreau. He said, "I went to the woods because I wished to live deliberately. I wanted to live deep and suck all the marrow of life, to put to rout all that was not life, and not when I came to die discovered that I had not lived." So it's so important for us to be aware that tomorrow is not promised. Hopefully God gives us 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 years to be around. Instead of getting caught up in all this problems that we have, we need to focus on gratitude and just being grateful and being satisfied, so that we can then experience this life that we have, which is a gift. So with that, thank you so much for joining us. I'm Dr. Dennis Mariano. Until we see you again next time, have a good night.